Good morning, everybody. I warmly welcome all of you to this value added program titled as Soft Skills, offered by Yashwant Mahavidyalaya Nanded. Today, in this video, we shall be talking about stress management. What is stress? Stress is often termed as a 20th century syndrome born out of man's race towards modern progress and its ensuing complexities, as Benjamin Franklin rightly says. Stress has been defined in many different ways over the years. The word stress is derived from the English word, and originally it was used in physics. And it meant an external pressure, tension, load of an object, according to Newhouse and Truman in 2005. It was conceived as pressure from the environment, then as strain with the person. The term stress was introduced in medicine in 1949 by the Canadian endocrinologist Hans Selye. Selye used the term stress to describe the pressure experienced by a person in response to life demands. These demands are referred to as stressors. Stress can both be positive as well as negative. According to Selye, 1956, stress is defined as the pressure experienced by a person in response to life demands. These demands are referred to as the stressors and include a range of life events, physical factors like cold, hunger, hemorrhage, pain, environmental conditions, and even personal thoughts. Saylor in 1976 argues stress is a process of adjusting to or dealing with the circumstances that disrupt or threaten to disrupt a person's physical or psychological functioning. Stress is tension, strain, or pressure from a situation that requires us to use, adapt, or develop new coping skills to the environment. Stressor is the stimuli preceding or precipitating a change. It may be internal, which can be fear or guilt, or external, which could be a trauma or peer pressure, etc. Stress is due to an excess of adaptive demands placed upon us. The demands are so great that they lead to bodily and mental damage. Say, for example, unexpected death of a loved one. The optimal amount of stress, which helps to promote health and growth, like praise from a superior for hard working, are called as positive stress. So, stressors also can be positive and negative, leading to the positive stress and negative stress. Stress problems are very common across the world in the modern day. The American Psychological Association's Stress in America poll found that one-third of the people in the United States report experiencing extreme levels of negative stress. In addition, nearly 1 out of 5 people report that they are experiencing high level of negative stress 15 or more days per month. Stress is the non-specific response of the body to any kind of demand that is made upon it. And stressor is any person or stimuli that produces anxiety response to the body. A stressor is a chemical, it could be a biological agent, environmental condition, external stimulus, or an event that causes stress to an individual. Stress could be external stressors as well as internal stressors. The external stressors that could cause stress could be the physical environment, like social interaction with people, life events which have no control over, like death in a family or absconding. The internal stressors that are responsible for causing stress are the personal lifestyle choice, the personality traits, individual thought process, which could be negative, over analyzing, depressing, leading to suicide, and so on. That is one of the reasons why you could find in the newspapers as well as on television showing so many suicides being committed every minute and every second. What could be the signs of stress? The stress could be manifested in terms of physical, mental, behavioral, and job related. The signs of the physical stress are number one, anger, frustration, boredom, irritation, weakness, body ache, shouting, lack of interpersonal relationship, depression. The signs of the mental stress are insomnia or lack of sleep, loss of mental concentration, migraine, headaches, and depression. Depression and isolation, leading to alienation and even to the suicidal attempts and suicide itself. The signs of the behavioral stress are depression, extreme anger, frustration, conflicts, lack of friends, lack of interpersonal relationships, and suicide. The job related stress and the signs are lack of concentration in the job that is being done, absenteeism, conflicts, anger, depression. One thing that is common to all the four physical, mental, behavioral, and job related stress is anger, frustration, depression, conflicts, and suicide. This is one of the reasons why we could see so many young people committing suicide. I'm extremely sorry to share this news with you that one of the third year student, the previous pass out, who might be known to you, Mr. Agarwal, committed suicide yesterday. The moment his friends came to the department and shared the news with us, we were all in a shock. I knew that the boy was in depression. I had counseled myself a number of times, spoke to his parents. The parents also knew that there is some problem, mentally speaking, with the child. In fact, the child wanted to learn a different faculty, not doing BA English in Pune or Mumbai. And due to the lack of financial financially sound condition, the family could not afford to send him. And that is responsible for depression. He tried to cut his nerves a number of times, tried to jump into River Godavari 4 or 5 times, saved by his friends. And ultimately, yesterday, he committed suicide. I don't know whether it is coincidence that I'm making a video on stress management and this news about your own colleague or your own superior had come to us. Never, never get depressed to such an extent that you commit suicide. Life is beautiful. There is only one chance of living. Never get it wasted by going into depression and committing suicide. Of all the things, living is important, life is important. All materialistic things are secondary. Understand this and listen to what is being said in stress management very carefully. Come out of depression. And whenever you feel that you are angered, depressed, bored, irritated, come out of your house. Have a walk on the street. Meet your friends. Talk to them. Talk to your parents. Talk to your teachers. Talk to your friends. Talk to your siblings. Never be alone. The moment you identify yourself that you are getting frustrated, irritated, and getting the symptoms of committing suicide and leaving this world because of lack of interest in any of these things, identify that you are becoming a victim of stress and you are going to the extreme end of it. Identify it. Definitely call a doctor. Take the help. Or be with somebody near and dear where you could be comfortable. Believe me, children, life is important. Everything else is secondary. What could be the causes of stress? Job insecurity could be one. High performance demand in the job could be another. Bad boss could be another. Workplace culture might be very disgusting for you. Family problems could be there. Personal problems like love failures or failure in an examination could be there. And for students like all of you, it could be a sort of lack of career, lack of job, lack of interest in whatever you are doing in academics, forcible entry into the academics and the faculty, maybe by your father, maybe by your parents, maybe by somebody. It could be anything. Believe me, you want to do a job, do it or don't do it. You want to do your degree, do it or don't do it. You want to work or don't work. Still live happily. Whatever it is, whether you want to study, whether you want to work, whether you want to select a profession, whether you want to be whatever you are, should be your choice. And when you have selected your choice, you'll be happy always. Never be under the compulsion of anybody. Live happily. Stress can be of different types. It is the wear and tear, I put it in inverted commas. It's the wear and tear of our body's experiences as we adjust to our continually changing environment. It has physical and emotional effects on us and can create both positive as well as negative feelings. So you can have good stress and bad stress. Good stress, in the terminology of Hans Selye, is eustress, EUSTRESS. And bad stress, in the terminology of Hans Selye, is distress. So you have eustress, a good stress or positive stress, and distress, a bad stress or negative stress. And in between, you have hyperstress and hypostress. Hyperstress is overstress, hypostress is understress. If you look at the graph that I have given, the x-axis has got the stress and the y-axis has got the time or the performance. The eustress is on the left side and the distress is on the right side. The positive is on the left side and a normal man will be exactly on the dotted line, trying to manage his eustress and distress and trying to give his best. When you lose this balance, you automatically fall a victim to the distress and go into the stress and become a victim of it. Let us try and understand the good as well as bad stress in more detail. Eustress or the positive stress has the following characters. It is the positive stress that stimulates a person to function better. This is called as friendly stress or positive stress. It has a good influence on the humans in terms of physical and mental ability. It acts in a positive or for the individual as well as the organization. It also provides the sense of urgency and alertness needed to survival when confronting any threatening situation. Within us, the eustress will fill up the coping abilities. It is seen as self-motivating. It focuses energy within us. We feel excited to work and it improves the performance. Whereas the bad stress or the distress, on the contrary, is the negative stress and has the characteristics like it may cause illness. This is called as harmful stress. Negative stress could be also described as burning out. It is a contributory factor in minor conditions such as headaches, insomnia, ulcers, etc. It causes anxiety or concern. It can be short or long-term distress. It is perceived as outside of our coping abilities. We feel unpleasant when we are suffering from it. It decreases our performance. It can lead to mental and physical problems. Negative stress results in loss of motivation, reduces our effectiveness in terms of physical, mental, and behavioral problems are raised because of distress. Overstress or hyperstress is the overload that occurs with the stressful events pile up and stretch limits of adaptability. It is at this stage that a man commits suicide. Hypostress is the underload that occurs when bored, lacking simulation, lacking any sort of stimulation or motivation or unchallenged way of life. In the diagram, you could see stress. On the left, you could see good stress or eustress, which motivates you to work, bad stress or distress, which depresses you, hyperstress. The bad stress leads to hyperstress at a longer time and leads to depression and suicide. And the understress or the hypostress You isolate yourself and start leading a gloomy life. Stress also can be classified as short term stress or acute stress and long term stress or chronic stress. Let us try and understand these types also. Acute stress is the reaction to an immediate threat, commonly known as fight or fight response. The threat can be any situation that is experienced, even subconsciously or falsely, as a danger. Common acute stress includes noise, covering, crowding, isolation, hunger, danger, infection, any small thing. Whereas long term stress, which is called as the chronic stress, in a day to day life, person faces different stressful situations which are not short lived. The stress becomes chronic when an individual tries to suppress it. Common chronic stressors include ongoing highly pressured work, long term relationship problems, loneliness. So never try to suppress your stress. Try to share it with your near and dear, with your parents, with your friends, with your teachers, with whomever you are comfortable. Try to share it. Never suppress anything. As Sigmund Freud, the psychologist, rightly says, if you try to suppress something, it comes out in a different way. You cannot suppress it throughout. And if it comes out in the form of a depression, it comes out in the form of a suicidal attempt, it becomes too haphazard to manage. So let us go into the details of these stresses, because apart from acute stress and chronic stress, we have eight more or six more different types. Let's look into the each one variety. The acute stress, as we discussed, is the most severe form of stress which demands the body's immediate reaction to a new challenge, event, or demand. Acute stress, as we said, is not always negative, it could be positive also, and it can even be experienced while on a roller coaster in the form of fear. Did you ever experience you have something going on in your stomach when you sit in a roller coaster or when you sit in a giant wheel and so on? Even that is an acute stress that is induced when you are sitting inside it. Stress suffered as the victim of a crime or life threatening situation can cause mental health problems like post traumatic stress disorder or acute stress disorder. The second is episodic acute stress. Frequent occurrence of acute stress is called as episodic acute stress. People who are often anxious, irritable, or short tempered experience this kind of stress. They get angered very fast and they keep on shouting at different people, especially the subordinates. The teacher beating the students, the parents scolding the children, the people shouting outside and fighting with each other are all the victims of episodic acute stress. Victims carrying a persistent negative outlook to everything and worry over every small issue are the victims to it. Negative health effects occur in people with episodic acute stress. These people accept stress as a part of their life and it is difficult for them to alter their lifestyle. They take pride in telling that I'm a short-tempered person. I get angry very fast. Believe me, that is a disorder by itself. Try to overcome this with the techniques that we are going to discuss in the later part of this video. The third is called as the chronic stress. The most serious of all the three so far discussed is the chronic stress. Chronic stress is a prolonged acute stress that exists for weeks and months and even years. This stress is due to poverty, broken or stressed families, broken marriages, chronic illness, successful failures in life. People suffering from this type of stress get used to it and may not even realize that they are, you know, under any chronic stress. It is very harmful to their health. The fourth type is called as the physical stress. Physical stress can occur from trauma due to injury, infection, or any kind of surgery, intense physical labor, environmental pollution, inadequate oxygen supply, fatigue, hormonal imbalance, dehydration, substance abuse, dental problems, among others. Psychological stress is the next variety of stress. The psychological stress includes emotional stress from fears, frustration, sadness, anger, grief, and cognitive stress from jealousy, attachments, anxiety, panic attacks of self criticism, and so on. It basically refers to the emotional and physiological reactions experienced when an individual comes across a particular situation. The sixth is called as the psychological stress. This stress comes from the relationship or marriage difficulties. It could be a relationship of an employee employer, siblings, or within the family, or within the friends. Lack of social support, loss of employment, loss of loved ones, and isolation can lead to this kind of stress. The seventh variety of stress is called as the work related stress. Work related stress can result in high levels of employee turnover. Employees experiencing stress are more likely to make poor decisions and cause errors. Workplace relations and customer services may deteriorate in the work related stress. Sometimes this stress, which is related to work, carry forwarded to the family, also might disturb the family and people in the house. The eighth variety is occupational or job related stress. Job related stress is defined as the tension arising in a person that is related to the demands of the person, a role, or the job, as M. McVicar in 2003 says. As you could see in the picture, one person trying to do hundreds of things in the job and a great expectations of perfection that is demanded might result in the stress. Whatever it is, the effects of the stress are terrible, whether it is short term effects or long term effects. When we look at the short term effects of stress, it could be physical, psychological, emotional, and behavioral. Physical changes can occur, and physical symptoms are usually triggered by arousal of autonomic nervous system and includes increase in heart rate and blood pressure. Psychological changes include lack of concentration, muscle ache, headache, insomnia or loss of sleep, loss of memory, inability to make decision, forgetfulness, confusion, and faster breathing. Emotional changes also can be seen in the short term effects of stress, like emotional response may include anxiety, nervousness, frustration, anger, irritability. Behavioral symptoms and changes are also seen in the short term effects of stress. The impacts of stress affect the behavioral and present as pacing, fidgety movements, continuously moving your hands and legs, nail biting, smoking, drinking, throwing things away in anger, and so on and so forth. You might have seen some, many, or all changes in many people, or maybe sometimes you yourself. Had you? Be careful that you might be a victim of stress. Similarly, the long term effects of the stress also could be behavioral changes, psychological changes, emotional changes, and cognitive changes. The affected person becomes victim of serious behavioral disorders like fearfulness, obesity, alcoholism, drug addiction, and so on. Psychological changes like hypertension, heart diseases, skin diseases, even cancer nowadays, they say, is because of the psychological effects of stress. The emotional changes or chronic anxiety, depression, the affected person becomes the victim of serious emotional disorder like fear and phobia, personality changes, mental disorder. Cognitive changes also do take place as the effects of the long term stress, like memory problems, obsessive thoughts, sleep disorders, and panic situations. As Hans Siley explains, stress has three stages. General adaptation syndrome, GAS, is very well put forwarded by him. It's a way that the body tries to keep the balance. The GAS stages, as suggested by Hans Selye, are the alarm reaction stage, which is the first stage, The second stage is stage of resistance, and the third stage is the stage of exhaustion. When we talk about the alarm reaction stage, which is the first stage as said by this, alarm is the first stage. When the stressor is identified or realized, the body's stress response is a stage of alarm. During this stage, adrenaline is a hormone that will be produced in order to bring about the fight or fight responses. Immediately, you start perspiring, your palpitations increase, your blood pressure increases, you start getting angered, you start tightening your muscles. All these are the alarm stage. The second stage is resistance stage. You try to control them. If the stressor persists, it might become necessary to attempt some means of coping with the stress. Although the body begins to try to adapt to the strains or demands of the environment, the body cannot keep this up indefinitely, and so its responses and resources are gradually depleted. And the third stage is the stage of exhaustion. You cannot control this, you cannot suppress the stress for a longer time, however hard you might try. Exhaustion is the third stage and the final stage in the gas model. At this point, all the body's resources are eventually depleted and body is unable to maintain normal function. If stage 3 is extended, long-term damage may result as the capacity of gland, especially the adrenaline gland, collapses and the person goes into depression and madness. So this is the diagram and graphical representation given for the three stages of stress by Hans Reilly. On the x-axis you have time, on the y-axis you have stress. The lower part of the y-axis is low level stress and gradually a higher level stress. You could find in the very first stage the alarm stage where you could find the dotted line is the normal resistance level. You could find slightly a higher level with the red line in the alarm stage from the normal. And in the resistance stage, it is the maximum. Its defense is maximized. And in the exhaustion stage, suddenly it collapses and collapsing the entire systems of human mind, body, and thereby leading to depression and suicide. Now, this could be prevented if it is identified that the person is suffering from depression. As a good health, you could see that they're going in a straight line. In the alarm stage itself, if it is identified, automatically some adaptogens can be suggested either in the form of drugs or in the form of counseling or in the form of meditation or anything that is suggested which could slow down. Otherwise, at the alarm stage, the resistance increases, the resistance stage it is maximum, and at the exhaustion state it falls down, leading to depression and death. So stress management is required. Don't you realize? Stress is an important thing that all of us take due to different reasons. Maybe the job related, we talked about the different types of stress, and it is very essential for all of us to manage it. First of all, we should understand that all of us can become the victims of stress, and we need to manage it. Stress management involves the use of the coping strategies in response to stressful situations. Coping strategies are adaptive when they protect the individual from harm or strengthen the individual's ability to meet challenging situations. Stress management is the amelioration of stress and especially chronic stress, often for the purpose of improving everyday functioning. Stress produces numerous symptoms which vary according to person, situations, and severity. These can include physical health decline as well as depression. The effects of stress are multifaceted. Some have increased blood pressure, rapid heartbeat, reduced blood supply to the skin, effect on the digestive activities, increase in perspiration, additional release of sugar, decrease in immune system's function, depression and anxiety, alcoholism, drug dependency, stress related heart diseases, stress related diabetes, and so on. If you look at the report that has been published in 2000 on stress, they found that 41.5% of teachers in India are reported to be highly stressed, while 58.5% came into the low stress category, and 36% of teachers fell into the effect of stress, um, all or almost at the same time. So you could see the diagrammatic or maybe the representation of the effects of stress. The report, the area of the study encompasses 955 teachers of 9 state universities, 5 universities of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, with general specialization. It was done by Mr. Reddy in 2011, and the report says because of the organizational structure and climate existing in the institutions, 625 people, yani 65.45% have moderate stress, and 19.27% of teachers are in high stress. Because of the personal and professional efficiency, 14.45% of teachers experience high stress. And because of intra and interpersonal interactions, 37.38% of teachers are in low stress, 47.64% of teachers are in moderate stress, and 14.45% of teachers are in high stress. You can imagine if the teachers are in stress, who are more composed, more matured, maybe the students are obvious to be in stress, who are still bewildered and shattered. So, coping with stress is a must. And you have to find out our own individual strategies to cope with it. Altering the source of stress, whatever gives us stress, we should go away from it. Avoiding the stressors, accepting the stress, adopt a hobby, and adopting healthy habits. Whatever it is, we should learn to cope with stress. What are the strategies of coping with stress? First of all the strategies is awareness. This is the first step. The initial step in managing stress is awareness. Awareness is to become aware of the factors that create stress. Whatever we are not happy with, just avoid it. Avoid the person, avoid the place, avoid the things, avoid the topics which bring us stress and the feeling associated with a stressful response. As one can become aware of stressors, he or she can omit, avoid, or accept them. So, the first easier way is be aware of whatever the stressors are responsible for your stress and be away from them. The second is get organized. The time management and the principles of time management that we discussed under that topic definitely will help us to get ourselves organized. Because coping with stress is all about planning. And you can plan to fall or plan to success. Organize time for work, family, hobbies, spiritual time, time with the friends, time for alone, time for exercise, time for relaxation. You should keep your time. The 24 hours are yours. You should be the master of dividing the 24 hours among your work, family, hobbies, friends, alone, exercise, and relaxation. If you cannot organize your time, who else is going to? And how to organize your time and plan your work efficiently, we have discussed in detail as to maintaining the diaries and planners, etc., under the heading of time management. So, time management always is helpful for maintaining the stress management also. Visualize the best outcome is a third part of strategy to cope with stress. Coping with stress knows how to deal with a stressful situation before it occurs. Be planned. You visualize how you are going to react in your mind. Close your eyes and sit and think as if the stressor is in front of you. How are you going to react? Plan for it, visualize it, rehearse it, and picture yourself being successful in coping with stress. When you actually face it, you can manage it. Don't postpone any action is the first strategy of coping with stress. One of the best strategies for coping with stress is not to put off action until tomorrow if you can do it today. काल करे सो आज करे so ab, as Kabir says, yes, keep doing. Coping with stress becomes more difficult when you defer and postpone because for tomorrow you have already some lot of work prescribed. If you don't complete your work that is allotted for you today, this is going to get postponed and piled up for tomorrow, and that would increase the stress for completing today's half done work and tomorrow's complete work. And day after day, the work gets piled up, increasing your stress. Do your least favorite chores first, followed by rewards. And we already saw how Stephen Covey has given the four quadrants of deciding what is urgent and important. What is urgent but not important, what is important but not urgent, and what is not urgent and not important. So decide on that. So time management techniques will definitely help you to manage your stress also. Visualize the best outcome. Coping with stress knows how to deal with a stressful situation before it occurs. You rehearse, you practice, you picture in it, don't postpone it, and then be always realistic. Set realistic goals. If you can do 10 works at a time, like for me, I keep 8 works, not more than 8. Because I know that I cannot do more than that. Doing the daily chores, doing 8 works at the college, and that's it. Put a full stop. Relax. In spite of the fact that you know that you have more work to do, keep it for tomorrow. Today's work is over will give you a sort of relaxation. So set the realistic goals. On the contrary, if I start putting putting the unrealistic goals, like 20 works to be done on one single day, it's not possible. You are not a robot. Even for a robot, it is not possible because every work will require some element of time. And you have to categorize that amount of time for doing the work successfully because you are achieving and doing the work efficiently and effectively, not completing the work somehow. Emphasize quality over quantity always. Work at a leisurely pace, taking breaks often will definitely help you to work better and reduce the stress. Sleep, eat, and exercise are the beautiful strategies with coping with stress. In between, coping with stress is all about treating your body properly. Eat food that nourish you, exercise well, get plenty of sleep, relax whenever it can be possible. The moment you start feeling bored, the moment you start feeling fatigued, the moment you start feeling stressed out, just take a break. Stroll about. Watch a cartoon film or watch a film that interests you for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. What a Charlie Chaplin show. Or maybe Laurel and Hardy story. Or read a book. Or talk to your family. Talk to your friend. All these will reduce the stress and get plenty of sleep. 6 to 8 hours sleep is a must. There are a number of relaxation techniques which would bring you out of stress. Be specific when exploring your options. You might consider the following like going for a walk, meeting with friends, reading for pleasure, listening to music, taking a bath, strolling outside, just relaxing, talking to your friends. It could be anything. Identify your method of relaxing. Begin practicing relaxation techniques like number one, meditation, number two, breathing exercises, number three, progressive muscles relaxation. It is here that yoga comes into picture. Meditation is a holistic discipline during which time the practitioner trains his or her mind in order to realize some benefit. Meditation is generally a subjective, personal experience and most often done without any external involvement except perhaps prayer beads to count prayers. Meditation often involves invoking and cultivating a feeling of internal state such as compassion or attending to some focal point. The term can refer to the process of reaching this state as well as the state in itself. Pranayama or Prana Vidya definitely help you in this mode to overcome your stress. It cures all the physical and mental ailments. Inhalation, a deep inhalation, is called Puraka. A deep exhalation, which is called Rechaka. And the retention or holding called Kumbhaka. It could be Abhyantara Kumbhaka, holding the breath inside, or Bahya Kumbhaka. Exhale and stop breathing. And suspension is the intermediate space or time. Start with Bhastrika. Ujjayi Pranayama, Anuloma Viloma, Kapalabhati, and Brahmari. These are the five very interesting types of pranayama that you have in order to see that you come out of stress. Bhastrika is the forceful breathing exercise, clears up your respiratory system, and is characterized by sounds like a flame burning below a furnace. Perform this breathing technique to strengthen your lungs, burn excess fat, improve physical and mental ability, and clear the windpipe. How should you do it? Take a deep breath in, inhaling as much as air you can, and expand your stomach. Exhale the air out with force and try to pull your navel in towards the backbone. How should you do it? Take your stomach inside. Hold it. Repeat 1 or 2 minutes and rest for a while afterwards. The second is called as Ujjayi Pranayama. It is also known as victorious breath or ocean breath. This breathing technique involves a soft hissing sound during inhalation. The sound vibrations that are a part of this pranayama sharpen the focus of your mind, can be sharpened, it can cure thyroid and even reduce snoring. Begin by inhaling and exhaling naturally. Bend down your head. Inhale. Bend down your head, blocking the free flow of air, and inhale as long as you can, making a sound. Hold it for some time, for 2 to 3 seconds. Close your right nostril now. Exhale it. Begin by inhaling and exhaling naturally. Bend down your head, blocking the free flow of air, and inhale as long as you can, making a sound from your throat. Hold for 2 to 5 seconds. Close your right nostril with your right thumb while exhaling and breathe out through the left nostril. 10 to 12 times and as much as time you can or you need. The third is Anuloma Viloma. This pranayama helps normalize your blood pressure, aids in blood purification, reduce risk of heart disease, and can also improve your sight. This is also called as Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. Close your eyes and sit in Padmasana or Sukhasana. Use the right thumb to close your right nostril. Inhale slowly through the left nostril, taking in as much of air as you can to fill your lungs. Remove your thumb from the right nostril and exhale. While exhaling, use the middle finger to close your left nostril and inhale with your right nostril. Now inhale with your right nostril. Remove the thumb from the right nostril and exhale out. This is one Kapalabhati. This is one Anuloma Viloma. Perform at least 2 to 5 minutes for a very healthy body. The next is Kapalabhati, known as the skull shining breathing technique. The strong, deep breathing exercise is synonymous with shining yourself. This pranayama can improve the functioning of all the abdominal organs, reduces belly fat, lead to quick weight loss, and balance the sugar levels in your body. This breathing technique involves passive inhalation and active exhalation. So inhale normally and breathe out as much as you can in a forceful manner. Try and pull your stomach muscles as closely as you can towards the backbone during exhalation. Perform for 2 to 5 minutes. This will help you a lot in balancing your body. The fifth pranayama is Brahmari. This pranayama derives its name from the Brahmari, the black Indian bee. The exhalation resembles the typical humming sound of a bee. It can calm your mind down instantly and is one of the best breathing exercises to distress as it rids the mind of frustration, anxiety, anger, or agitation. Close your ears with your thumb. Place your index finger on your temple. Close your eyes with other fingers. Gently enable the nose and hold for a few seconds. Keeping the mouth closed, exhale by making a humming sound. Close. Repeat at least 5 times. After this, you could be talking about Omkara for 3 times and conscious breathing for 5 minutes at least. Normally, when you are breathing in 1 minute, 12 to 16 times we inhale and exhale. But consciously and slowly, when you are breathing, reduce it to 10, then 8, then 5, maybe 4 breathings per minute. For reducing stress, sharpening brain, keeping your body and mind fit, this conscious breathing exercise definitely helps. In fact, the entire Buddha Sutra is to have a control of the breathing and thereby realizing your own self. Do it every day, at a given time, at a given place for 15 minutes and live a very healthy life. The deep breathing exercises definitely help you to reduce your stress. Whenever you feel that you are getting stressed, just sit at one place and start deeply inhaling and exhaling. Sit or lie down comfortably. Inhale slowly through the nose and exhale through the mouth. While inhaling, place one hand below the ribs. Allow the hand to extend outwards when inhaled. Let the hand fall back to its original position when exhaled. Exhalation should take twice as long as inhalation. Practice it for 5 times if you do whenever you're stressed. Your stress vanishes. Deep breathing exercises definitely help you to reduce your stress. Progressive muscle relaxation is the third technique. Progressive muscle relaxation means the muscle relaxation can be done in sitting or lying down position. Each muscle group is tensed for 5 to 7 seconds and then relaxed for 20 to 30 seconds, during which time the individual concentrates on the differences in sensation between the two conditions. Soft, slow, background music could be kept for the slow relaxation of your muscles. Relax your body, relax your prana, relax your mind to come out of stress. The unhealthy way of coping with stress are number one, smoking, drinking too much, using pills or drugs to relax, sleeping too much, withdrawing from friends, family, and activities, zoning out for hours in front of TV or computer, taking your stress out on others by lashing out on them, or angry outbursts or physical violence. Avoid all this. The moment you are experiencing this, understand that you are becoming stressed. The very first step of removing stress is to understand and be aware of stress and then follow the rules. Advantages of managing the stress is you can have less absenteeism due to stress related disorders, less workers' compensation loss due to the stress related illnesses or accidents, improved job performance, less stressful, more efficient workplace, improved employee attitude, improved employee overall health, and a smile and a happiness within you. The disadvantages of not managing the stress is that It can potentially raise your heart rate, weaken your immune system, take you to depression, and make you commit suicide. So overcome stress today. If not you, maybe observe the people around and help them to overcome the stress. Be prepared for all changes. Find and protect time to refresh, re energize, and remotivate. Avoid giving in to alcoholism, smoking, or other substance abuses. Positive attitude towards stressful situations in life can help you out. Don't be complacent. Sit straight and comfortably on your seat and try breathing exercises whenever it is possible. Try creative visualization. How do you manage stress effectively then? Have a positive attitude. Keeping a positive attitude takes steps. What you need to do first is to accept that there are facts and fiction. Your negative thoughts are just thoughts in your head, they are not facts. Focus your mind on knowing the positive things. Think about the things that make you happy, hopeful, and motivated. These are your motivations in focusing on the positive. Be thankful for everyone. Gratitude creates a positive feeling and energy that influence to think and feel good. Be thankful for even the smallest and the simplest thing around you and live always with a positive mind. Number two, acknowledge the things beyond your control. Wanting to get something makes you do everything to reach it. This is especially true if you are taking and talking about your dreams. As you reach your dreams, there may be situations you cannot control. If you force yourself to it, it can lead to stress. At this point, practice your mind to accept the situation. Live in now, not in the past, not in the dreams, not in the future. The third way to manage stress is exercise regularly. You can simply go for a walk outside for 30 minutes each day. You can also perform breathing exercises. Yoga is another good way to release your stress. Fourth is eat healthy. Your diet is also another way of combating stress. The nutrients you take from food are all healthy for the brain and the body. Your meals should contain the right amounts of protein, healthy fats, carbohydrates, and fiber. These are macronutrients that provide energy, keep you focused and alert, and boost your mood. It's also important to keep a healthy eating behavior. This can significantly influence your health as well. You should eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's also important to avoid sweets and other unhealthy foods that would affect your mood. The fifth way to manage the stress effectively is take a break and have fun. Scheduling time to have fun is healthy for your mental health. It can relieve stress, reduce tension and anxiety, and make you feel better. There are tons of things that you can do to have fun. Just go for a painting, go for gardening, go for singing or dance, go for pottery, or whatever you like. Start doing even a stamp collection that has been done, or maybe sky watching. It could be anything, or just watching television for some time, just reading a book for some time, or chatting with your friends sometime. These ways are to break from your stressful work. Number six, to get rid of stress, manage your stress effectively, is get enough sleep. Getting enough sleep can recharge your body and allow you to rest. You need to sleep 7 to 8 hours a day to completely re energize. To achieve a good night's sleep, you can do the following: drink a glass of milk before going to bed, listen to soft music, take an aromatic bath and then go to bed, write a journal or read a book and then go to bed, perform breathing exercise and go to bed. I have heard that lighting a lamp, a small lamp with ghee or with oil, in one of the corners of your room where you are sleeping also will give you a good sleep. So you don't sleep in the total darkness. Go to bed to re-energize yourself. How? How to get rid of stress then? Enjoy your life as it comes and always be happy. Relief from stress, stop shallow breathing, create the habit of deep breathing, visualize and communicate your vision, always laugh, smile, crack a joke, do your goofiest impression, tickle a child that you love. Be aware of your choices, you always have a choice. Learn to say no for the things that you cannot do. You cannot do everything that you are asked for. Do only those, and for the rest, you say no. Be thankful to everything that you get. Sometimes do nothing and sit and relax. Do nothing at all. Close the door, open the window, have a seat, take a little break from your life, and start observing nature. Be with nature. Be with flowers. Be with animals. Listen to music. All these are wonderful ways of relieving yourself from stress. Sleep well. Avoid stress. Do exercise. Eat well. Stick on to a hobby. Meditate and relax. Go on a vacation whenever you're stressful. So, in conclusion, stress is everywhere in the family, outside, whatever. And we just have to deal with it properly. In fact, stress becomes stress when we take it as a stress. It is not stress at all if we don't take it as stress. It can occur in any form in your life. So, you have to identify its triggers immediately. Doing so can help you find solutions and fight stress. However, if you think stress persists after doing self help, ask for professional help as soon as you can. Thank you very much for being a part of this beautiful video on stress management techniques. I hope it was beneficial for you. Bye for now and see you in the next video.